Welcome to my fascinating presentation on elevating your social brand using computer software to create powerful graphical interfaces which strategically engage and influence relationships between government and community for better synergistic outcomes. Is what my boss told me to call this presentation. No. Shit, you're recording this, aren't you? Is this going on the internet? I hope she's not watching. All right, moving on. No, we're here to talk about having content with a personality, how to get attention for the boring stuff, and how we can humanize our content, and how being real can have some really good strategic benefits and completely change how your community can interact with you. Yeah, we're a council, we post memes on social media. The problem in local government is there's this weird mindset that everyone that works there thinks, we are the government. People need to listen to us. We have really important things to say. No, it doesn't work like that. So what we did was we completely flipped the thinking. Basically, we're competing for people's time the same as everybody else in this room, and we wanted to flip our content to think, how do people want to receive content from their council, not how does the council want to give content to you. One thing that councils love to do is promote on social media using terrible flyers full of text. You've all seen it. They use terrible stock images, and they are obsessed with using photos of the mayor in everything. I don't know why. Luckily, we have a great mayor who only wants to be used for the important stuff that she should be used for, not every single little thing, because the community don't care. They don't want to see that. She's cool with that. She knows. Oh, shit, someone's been playing with my slides. That's just a stock photo of me celebrating with my team. Sorry, City of Port Adelaide Enfield. So we've got about 130,000 residents. We've got over 9,000 businesses. We've got the tourism hubs on the west. Semaphore, Port Adelaide, the Heritage Precinct, all the way over to the tree-lined streets in the east. We've got some of the most culturally diverse regions in Adelaide and in South Australia, with English as a second language. We've got some of the most affluent suburbs and some of the poorer suburbs. We've got defence, shipbuilding, a $90 billion investment in shipbuilding, which has had some major infrastructure growth around Port Adelaide. And it's been really interesting working on some of those projects. And 6 years ago when I started, we didn't have social media at all. We had nothing. And now our content's reaching over 150,000 people a week on organic, and we get over 10 million views yearly on our social posts. So what does the council really do? Roads, rates, and rubbish, right? No, that's what a council does. And it probably took me 3 years to get across all of the things that councils do. This is what councils spend your rate money on. And it's our job as comms people to add value to all of this, to show the ratepayers what we do with their money, to show all the different things that we're involved in the community, and to add value to it all. And people forget sometimes in local government that we're also marketers and comms people, and it's our job to do the same as any other marketer in any other business. Just on our social media posts, we've flipped how we communicate, and these are some of the responses we get from our community now. Because what we're trying to do is create a community that likes conversation, that isn't afraid to ask tough questions. We're humanizing our people. We're actually building trust with our community by having a personality and not being robots. And I'll talk a lot more about that a little bit later on. Also, that first one, I never ever got a cake, which was really disappointing. I don't know if any of you follow American governments on social media. No joke, I just did a quick scroll, and these were some of the posts that I saw right at the top of their Facebook feeds. Some of these have 5,000 followers. Some of them have 250, 300,000 followers on their Facebook post, on their Facebook page. And they're getting 2 engagements, and they're posting this kind of content. Can we all agree that's garbage? Yeah, can we all agree that's garbage? God, come on. Aren't we marketing people? Come on. Yay, excitement. Yeah, you've ticked a box, you've published it, but you haven't engaged anyone. And that's one of the challenges that I face daily, is people that run projects coming to me, giving me something like that and going, can you put that on our social media pages? And I say no, and they say, Ed, you always say no to me. And I say yes, because let's think creative, let's get a little bit more exciting about what we're posting. So we flipped what we were doing, and we started creating videos. Now this was unheard of in local government, because going back to the mayor's your spokesperson. Your mayor is the only person who can speak to the community about anything. And we said, why is that? So we started creating weekly news videos. And the whole point of this was we put them online, 3 minutes long. If a resident saw one thing that we posted that week, this was what we wanted them to see. So it starts off with a 15, 20-second intro, which is me or my co-host in front of a green screen talking about what's coming up. And we started putting them online, and then it goes into like a voiceover feed of what's coming up during that week. Now, what we noticed quite quickly was when it was just me, dressed like this, it did okay. But when we started dressing up to relate to something that was in the video, we got 3 times as many views on our content when that was the thumbnail. Embarrassingly, the one of me dressed as a pirate, we also play these internally. That one got frozen at our depot. Now you imagine 350 guys in fluoro watching me dressed as a pirate trying to be Johnny Depp for, I think I found out about it 4 weeks later. So this had been looping in their lunchroom for 4 weeks straight. And I only found out about that when I went to the depot, and everybody was talking to me like I was a pirate, and it took me a while to live that one down. And there's also an animated version, the challenges of COVID. I was off sick, my co-host was off sick, I was sitting there in the morning, and we had to get the video out. Basically, we write it on a Monday morning, we film it on a Monday lunchtime, we get it out on Monday afternoon. And so I very quickly had to learn how to animate myself and how to make my mouth move. And then the week after, when I was back in the office, we thought, hey, it's a great opportunity for me to come and have a little fight with my animated self. So yeah, we're always keeping it fresh, always looking for something new to do. This was where we started. This was a converted toilet in the Heritage Civic Centre in Port Adelaide. And we had this for a good 5.5 years until we got enough trust from our executive team to actually give us a decent studio. And the mayor donated her second office. She's got 2 offices next to each other, because why not? She said, I really value what you guys are doing. You can have my second office and turn it into an actual studio. And that was, yeah, quite nice. So we've been filming in that for about a month now. And we actually won an award, which I think helped get us over the line. We won an award for innovation in local government for how we'd flipped things and how we'd started using video to communicate with the way our community wanted to receive information. Shit, someone's been playing with my slides. All right, so that was our lead-in. This was our first meme. Basically, I was sitting at home one night. I was like, hey, these video thumbnails are working really well. People like it when we go a little bit out there. I'm going to put a meme up. Unfortunately, looking back, I would have photoshopped it a little bit better than I did. But back at this time, we had about 6,000 followers on our Facebook page, and we had 55,000, I can't read, my eyesight's so bad. Yeah, 54,000 people reached with that, and it just went a little bit viral. For us in local government, this was amazing. This was mind-blowing, because up until this point, the way we'd advertise things like downloading them, if you don't know, I'll go back. My Local Services is an app you can download on your phone. It gives you a reminder when your bins are due the night before. It tells you what's going on in your community. If you see a pothole on the street, take a photo of it. You can send it to your council using that. Same with graffiti, same with loads of stuff. Up to this point, the only way we'd advertise this was using the, I'm going to say, crappy ads that are supplied to us, and nobody cared. As soon as we did this, we noticed a spike in downloads for the app because we got inside people's heads. So what we're trying to do, we're trying to make people notice, we're trying to engage people and start conversations, we're trying to humanize ourselves, we're trying to educate people, and we're trying to, just look at how long I've been yabbering on for, we're trying to connect with our community, we're trying to effectively tell what we're doing with their money, and we're trying to build trust and add value to the organization. Above all, we're trying to get people to spend their personal time looking at what we have to say as a subtle way to get them to do things like download the My Local Services app. So some of the ways that we use memes and fun content are for the boring things, like reporting a pothole. Now, I'm sure lots of you drive through potholes on a daily basis for weeks on end, and you get really annoyed with your council for not fixing it. Do you know, if you report it to your council, we'll fix it within 24, 48 hours. The trouble for us is we have over 700 kilometers of roads. We don't know what's going on out there, so it needs someone to report the pothole so we can fix the pothole so that your road's lovely and smooth and you can drive on it and you don't hate your council. So we started using memes to sort of relate with people about this and the importance of reporting it. Also, if we post a photo of a pothole to tell people to report potholes, that never goes well. People get really mad. Trust me, don't do that. I learned that from experience. We also tried to be really relatable with what we're doing. This was a popular image floating around. I'm sure you've all done this at some point in your lives. Now again, some of these numbers aren't really high for a lot of you guys working for big industries, but 16,000 impressions for us on a page with 22,000 followers organically is massive. And another really important part is starting the conversation. So you notice there's 86 comments there. People are talking about it, and that's all we really need. We're just trying to raise awareness and get people to download the app, because you get a reminder the night before to put your bins out, and then you don't end up like this dude. Another important thing is being able to back it up. So our graffiti removal, again, if it's offensive, often the same day. If it's just regular graffiti, probably 48 hours and we'll remove it. So sometimes we like to humble brag about how good our services are. If we just go out there and we do a post humble bragging, that also does not go well at all. So when we use memes, we've noticed people are actually really, really responsive in the comments. Again, 53 comments on that one, and it was all things like, these guys are great, I love your graffiti service, I've used this, it's worked really well, you cleaned it off of my business, you cleaned it off of my fence, and you can't buy that kind of PR. But again, if we'd gone out and just said, hey, look how great our graffiti service is, that doesn't go well. We like to keep things fresh. It's a chance to remind people, again, of the services that we do and how we're spending their money. So I'm sure you've all seen the street sweeper go down the street, and you've gone, huh. And only for a second, but it makes it relatable. And I was also really proud of this one, because I actually did this in FaceApp myself the first time I used FaceApp. So we like to Photoshop our memes where we kind of make them stand out a little bit more. Again, 31 comments on a post about a street sweeper. We're adding value to the business. We're telling the ratepayers how we're spending their money. We also use it to promote something really unexciting. Now, one wonderful thing about working in local government is you get to consult with your community about everything. Everything. Every single thing that you do. So we're doing a consultation about how we consult with you, because why not? This was our engagement and communication strategy, and this was the image we were given to promote it. So we thought, hey, this is wicked, let's do a test. So we put this online. Nobody cared. It just scrolled past, we got like 2 interactions, rubbish. And then we put this online, because why not take the opportunity to mock yourselves, right? Now, this one, because we took the piss out of ourselves, the numbers are pretty low compared to a lot of our posts, but the engagement team were really happy with this, because this single post alone drove 20 responses for people to go to the Have Your Say website, to click on the link, and to actually complete the survey. They expected 2 responses for the entire consultation. They got 20 from this post alone. And it was simply because we engaged with people for long enough for them to sit, to look at what we were doing, and to actually click on the link. So we're pretty happy with that one. Now, this one on the right is a post that another council did, which I won't name. Didn't really get that much interest. What we love to do is use people for everything we do and relate it to local things. So Port Adelaide Football Club were not doing too good at the start of the season. We really wanted to get rid of some green bags, so why not link the two? Obvious. You can't see that connection. This poor dude as well, he's our volunteer coordinator. It was his first day in the job. Not even joking, it's kind of a rite of passage if you work for the City of Port Adelaide, that at some point we'll photograph you in your first week there and put you on a Facebook page. We also like to tell a story, even if we make it up. So this is Amy. Amy's wonderful. She was actually one of the hosts of our news video that swapped with me on a weekly basis, and we had all these green bags to give away. She didn't order too many, but we made up a story that she did, because why not? People really engaged with this. The post impressions, 31,000 people saw this post, and we had 212 comments. But the real success with this was that we gave away 2,000 green bag rolls just from this post alone, and 400 green caddies to go in your kitchen. Awesome. That's all. You can get them at any time, by the way. Just contact us. We'll give you one. But we actually got rid of them there, and there's this poor guy that goes around and he delivers them 1 day a week. and we kind of maybe forgot to tell him that we were doing this, and we gave him 3 weeks straight of work, every day for 3 weeks, delivering green bags and caddies. So it was a success. There were a few people in the comments that were saying things like, oh, you should fire Amy, she's not very good at her job. Oh, look at how you're wasting my rates money. And to be honest, we just gave it back to them because when you're having fun with this kind of stuff, you have a bit of leeway to get a bit spicy in the comments, which I will show you in a minute. We also love to look for new angles to do things. Every year we tell people about snakes, we tell people about magpies swooping, we tell people about all sorts of things, and we just look for new ways to sort of get new eyes on it, use memes, use fun stuff, and we also use it in our news videos as well in the thumbnail, and it all sort of links together, and just, you're just trying to remind people that snakes are there. Going back to councils not being able to say nice things about themselves, and this feeds into our strategy. Occasionally, we like to just remind people that, hey, we do a good job. And using memes and having fun with it is one of the ways that we get away with doing that. And the really interesting part about this, it is interesting because I put a red box around it. We had one person hide that post. We had no angry reacts. This is a council saying, look how great we are, look how good our services are, look what we're doing for you guys. And nobody got angry at it because we've built up that sort of relationship with our community now that we can get away with this stuff. And it's great. This makes the executive team really happy when we do things like that. Oh, shit. That's something hustle. I don't know if you guys saw this post by the CSIRO the other day, which was floating around the internet. This was actually the first time that I've jumped on and put a comment on an external post as the City of Port Adelaide Enfield, and it worked really well because it just links so well with our digital literacy stuff in our libraries and some of the things we do. I got, if you can't see the number, 467 likes on that. The only one to beat us was the damn federal police. What can you do? And it's really important to be timely. So on the, what was this, May the 4th be with you, we just sort of synergized, is that a marketing word? We synergized our garbage truck with one of the AT-ATs from Star Wars, because, yeah, no real reason other than it was something fun to do. But at the depot where the garbage trucks are, they actually had this picture as the screensaver on their computers for the next 2 months, which I thought was really cool. And it's one of those things that the garbage truck drivers come in at 5 a.m. every morning. They're a contractor. We don't really have much to do with them unless they've done something wrong, really. So it's sort of relationship building with your staff and your contractors as well when you do things like this and you learn that they've enjoyed it and they've had fun with it and they've stuck it on their screensaver. So it's really good for that sort of internal relationship building as well. We often pick things up from local community groups. I'm sure many of you guys are in a local group. We have one called You Know You're From Lefevre Peninsula When, and people, for some reason, think that going in that community group and complaining about something and then arguing with 500 comments that are on there is a way to get something fixed, when if you just sort of come to us and post it on our wall or send us a message, we'll come and fix it for you. So we often use that as a jump in to post content like this. Now, this first one was when the state government built the new Northern Expressway and it rained and all the lines disappeared. And people got very, very angry at the council in the local community group. It has nothing to do with us. So we put this up to just kind of have a bit of a dig at the state government and to correct the misinformation without just coming out and looking like, we've got some big issue with the state government. By poking fun at it and doing it in a fun way, we got away with it. And people responded to it and we corrected the misinformation that was out there. The pothole one was just someone complaining around pothole in the community group, because that's obviously the way to get your pothole fixed. We also jump onto major events and trends that are happening. I'm sure you saw this one after Australia qualified for the World Cup. It's just a fun little one that we do. It's a limited window to get this right. You don't want to be doing it 2 or 3 weeks later, but if you do get the timing right, it can work really well. And also if you somehow, we managed to link that in with pothole repair as well. No idea how. When the Olympics were last on, it was a really good opportunity for us to get out and show what we actually do for local sports clubs. So we did one post every day that linked our field teams with a local sporting club with something we do in the community to enable that sporting club to function. Everything from community basketball rings to how we mow the grass at athletics tracks. Like, we're basically involved in every single sport that's at the Olympics at a grassroots level. And the community really engaged with this. And we also, again, got to show our field staff, who kind of get a little bit forgotten and they don't get to be front and center all that often, and they love this. The best response for this was from our internal staff. So we got the internal staff to get involved again on April Fool's Day. Now, I was a bit sketchy about doing this because, you know, we're a council, we don't want to get involved in April Fool's Day. That's so silly. But it amazingly worked really, really well. If you do an April Fool's Day joke, hot tip, tell your executives before you do it. And if you work for a council, definitely tell your councillors before you do it. Now, we told the mayor we thought that was enough. Apparently not, because a few councillors thought this was a genuine thing we were doing. And we got an email from one of the councillors saying what a great initiative this is, and it's so good that we're pushing boundaries, and congratulations. Yeah. So in 2022, we went bigger. Now, this one's really stupid. I didn't think this would work, but I was sitting on this since the day after April Fool's Day, the year before. We actually teamed up with Adelaide for this one to publish a legit news story with some of the science behind it at the same time as we published this. Again, no real reason other than to boost our engagement, to get people talking. And it did get people talking because it had lots of reactions and lots of comments. And it also, one of the good things with this one was it put us on the map to a wider audience because we made a few lists of best April Fool's pranks, amazingly, even though it's so ridiculously stupid. Now we'll get to the serious stuff. This is where we get, no, hang on, this isn't the serious stuff. This is the one before the serious stuff.
Any serious stuff in this presentation?
No serious stuff. No, we now have a bit of leeway to get away with saying things. We can have a dig at people on our social media pages. Would your council get away with posting something like that, actually having a dig at people that throw rubbish on the street? And people talk about it. People share it. People relate to it. Here we go. This is what I thought we were up to. Now we've shown people that we are real people, we can actually get away with some of the things that we possibly shouldn't when we talk to people in the comments. A typical, basically, we posted this meme about people illegally dumping, which is an ongoing thing for us, and it costs the City of Port Adelaide about $650,000 a year cleaning up illegal dumping. We have 2 full-time employees and a full-time truck that drives around just picking up things that people have dumped on the street. It's amazing. This person's come on and basically said, you guys need to do a better job of telling people about your hard waste pickup service. And we went, hang on, we advertise it on our website, on our social media, in hard copy quarterly newsletters, in mail-outs to households, over the phone while on hold, in person at our libraries and community centres, through waste education, through talks in schools, and using other methods. There's also information printed right on your bin lid. Aside from that, it's common decency to not dump piles of garbage on the street. Most councils would say, thank you for your feedback. It has been passed on to the relevant team. I'm sorry, that is bullshit. You're creating a community. You're engaging with your community. You know, saying that isn't a real human response. And I actually didn't believe this, but 94 people liked our comment, which actually blew my mind. And I got a text message from a councillor saying, have you got this response hung in the Louvre yet? Because and that actually opened my eyes quite a lot to how successful our strategy has been in humanizing ourselves. And another really, really impressive thing about this, even if I say so myself, because we got the engagement, because we got people talking, the media picked up on it. We had a 15-minute spot on ABC Radio to talk about illegal dumping. They maybe possibly said, we have started a new campaign to fight against illegal dumping, and we're at the forefront of this. I was like, sure, I just posted a meme on our Facebook page, but whatever. The combined media coverage that we got for, just based on this post alone, was $30,000. Because people talked about it, people engaged with it, it got shared around the community, the media picked up and went, hey, this is actually a thing, we've got a little bit of time, let's cover this. And the crux of what I'm getting to, we've humanized ourselves, we show the faces of people doing their jobs, we have fun, we're relatable. It lets us be honest and open when we need to be honest and open. We have an issue on the peninsula where when it rains, and that coincides with the stormwater in the river, the tide in the river getting high, the stormwater can't drain away. Now we're investing, I think it's $350 million over 30 years in stormwater infrastructure, At the moment, it's about $20 million a year to fix this. It's not an overnight fix. But obviously, if your house floods, you get angry. But when these issues are going to happen, we have to put a post on social media to tell people what to do, to tell people where to get sandbags. And we've started showing the faces of people that are doing the work on the streets. And instead of getting angry, people are saying, great work, guys, you're doing a good job. This is fantastic, you guys do great work. And there was not one single angry comment the last time we had a major stormwater event and the entire peninsula flooded. And it also enables us to be brave. Now, we made a rookie error. We rolled out, I think it was about 600 dog poo bag dispensers with organic bags in them. And the great thing about organic bags is they disintegrate. The bad thing about the organic bags that we put on the bins was they disintegrated very, very quickly. So people pulled the bags out. If they didn't break when they pulled them out, they broke when they put their hand through it to pick up their dog's poo. Now, we said, all right, we fixed the problem, we've got new organic bags, but we need to go out and tell people, you know, PR 101, we've made a mistake, let's own up to it, let's tell people. Now, back when we first started, nobody would have put their hand up to be in this photo, and I would have been arguing with our exec team to let me put something online. Steve is in our waste team, he goes, I'll be in a photo, let's do it, let's go right now. We went out to the bin, we took a photo, we put it online. There was no anger. Because we've humanized it, because we're showing faces, and because we're having fun with what we're doing, we had 752 reactions to that post. There is not one angry react there, and one person hit the post, whatever. Yeah, it was a really, really good outcome. And this isn't a one-off thing either. We've made mistakes. When you're running such a big organization, you make mistakes. Some of them are really big. And now we just get out on the front foot. We put it on social media. We'll talk about it. The mayor is amazing. If the media calls up and wants to talk about it, she will get on the phone and she will speak to them, or she'll get in front of a camera and she'll speak to them, because you've got to back yourselves and be honest about these things. And having a personality on social media has amazingly enabled us to do this a lot more effectively. Now, sometimes we go a little bit too far. This is probably the craziest thing we've done. We do a program called Paint Your Pole, where your ugly Stobie pole, you can come to us. We were the first council to do this. You can come to us. We'll give you all the funding to do it. We'll give you all the supplies. We'll get SA Power to sign off on your artwork, and you can go and paint the Stobie pole. Now, the first time we did this, this was innovative. This was great. Everyone loved it. Got loads of media attention. The second time we did it, all the other councils had started doing it as well, so nobody really cared. So we needed a new angle to get attention. So we put it out. We said, hey, Paint Your Pole round 2. Nobody really cared. So we had a bit of a chat and said, how can we engage with young people? How can we get interest in this? And then we made a very meta video.
We're having another round of Paint Your Pole, and we need a really strong idea to promote it. Something that will resonate with the kids.
Something that'll resonate with the kids. I've got it. Leave it with me. This is a Stobie pole. Boring, isn't it?
Oh, that's really bad. Lame. That's really boring.
This is a painted Stobie pole.
Oh, that is a really nice Stobie pole. Stunning Stobie pole. Oh, so bright, so colourful. Stunning! Oh, it's a red Stobie pole. Oh, that looks beautiful. Oh, that's an amazing Stobie pole. Amazing! What a Stobie pole. Oh, yeah!
Step 1, find a pole. Step 2, get permission from SA Power. Step 3, apply to us for free paint. Step 4, paint your pole. Now, I've worked in radio for like 18 years. I've done breakfast radio, I've done afternoon, I've done drive, I've done a lot of dumb shit. I have never been so scared as I was when I pressed publish on that post. Because we're a council, we don't do stuff like this. But amazingly, it sort of didn't quite work the way we wanted it to, but it worked really well. Parents were showing this to their kids, and their kids were saying, that's the best video ever, that's so cool. Yeah, this is when we were, it was a tongue-in-cheek, look how stupid kids' culture is these days. But, end result, we got more people to paint their Stobie poles, and it got really, really good engagement, and people were sharing it. And, we just went out with a camera, filmed that in one afternoon, and edited it the next day, got it up there. Quick and easy. I just want to quickly run through some of the stuff we do with our templates when we use memes. I really like to make them, well, a bit closer to what we do. So we like to Photoshop fluoro jackets on them because it makes them stand out a little bit more. And we do actually get a better response when we do this. There's one there. The one on the left is one of my favorites, I reckon. That was actually because we had an issue with people overfilling their bins. And when the garbage truck picks it up, basically it's an automated arm that comes out, grabs the bin, chucks it in the back. The driver has no further control. And then people contact us and say, there's garbage all over the street, send the garbage truck driver back. And we say, don't fill your bin up so much. We really do like to have a dig at people who graffiti our streets. Lots of councils don't do, they're very respectful to people who graffiti the streets. We're not, because, well, you're graffitiing public property and we don't like you for it. We actually have an amazing group of volunteers who go out and they're on the streets every day, scrubbing graffiti off all day, every day. There's 4 guys in a truck that drive around just cleaning graffiti. It's just one of those things that councils do that many people aren't aware of. And having this kind of content lets us just remind people, hey, this is how we're spending your rate money. Shit. Word of warning. Our mayor's up for anything, literally anything. I'm an idiot, and I've stopped her from doing things, right? You may have seen this guy in the paper recently. He's not from our council, he's from another council. He was sending messages to girls on Instagram, ended up in the paper. Now, I will always put a stop to my mayor being involved in any photo that in the future could be used against her. That bin photo was for something completely innocent, probably about 5 or 6 years ago, I think he did it. The media, being the media, they found it and they put it on the front page of the paper for the story about him getting into young girls' Instagrams and sending them DMs. So, word of warning, think into the future, think about anything that can happen, and be very aware if you're taking photos, especially with people in them, that they can and will be used against you. Just quickly as well, I just wanted to show that when we're not doing memes and when we're not doing the serious stuff, we always use good photos for everything. I will not accept a low quality photo from anyone. I will go out and get a decent photo, and we just try to use new angles, a bit of interest. We never use stock images. And we never use, again going back, we never use those flyers full of text. Oh, yeah, don't get me started. And get out there and have fun. And that is me.
Well, we do have time for a couple of questions before Jen starts jumping up and down at the end of the room. Are there any questions from the floor for Ed? Yep, looks like we've got a couple. So there's one over here. Tori, sorry. Oh, another mic. Sorry, I held this one on.
Thank you so much. You've been overdue to present here, so I'm delighted that you were able to share the story of Port Adelaide Enfield.
I can't see where you are.
I'm here, back.
Oh, hello.
Great prezzo. So many questions. I am a local government nerd. I'm a former admin of our local pain in the ass community group. So
I didn't use that term.
I've seen the other side. No, that's all right. My question that I've decided to ask you, one of many, is around how do you manage when shit does go wrong? So, I've heard lots of things about lots of elected members, so I'll just say councils are typically, can be fraught with scandal. Elected members bring out some of the craziest people who decide they want to represent their community. So there's codes of conduct issues. There's so many scandals that happen at a local government level. How do you manage that side of it?
We're really lucky. We've got a great load of elected members. We've got 16 elected members and a mayor. And we talk on messages all the time, and they're really good, and they will come to us and they will, talk through issues with us. But again, going back to what we did with the green bags, we're always on the front foot. And PR 101, get on the front foot, admit your mistakes, admit what's going on, and we are really strong believers in clarifying things and getting the facts out there before those local community groups start to make up their own facts. And we've also got good relationships with the admins of our local community group, and they will see what we're doing and they will go in the comments on their group. We don't post in those community groups, we stay well away from that, but they will post on our behalf and they will say, the council's issued a statement, and they'll link to it, and then people go there. And we found that when we do that, the conversation really, really quickly dies down because people aren't making it up. They aren't, coming up with their own stuff in their heads. They're actually seeing the facts there. And yeah, getting the truth out there, I guess, is how we handle it.
Over here. Hi, I'm Penny. I'm from the South Australian Produce Market. I love what you're doing and I would really like to implement it in some of the social media stuff we're doing to deal with our community, because we're constantly putting out, don't speed in your forklift, don't run someone over. But if I can flip that and use memes, I would love to do it. However, my question is a little bit like the eldest question. I'm not doing it that way at the moment. I'm going, these are the rules, these are the regulations, don't do this, don't do that. How did you go about bringing your executive team, your people that you report into, bringing them along to that journey? Like, did you just start flooding it with memes every day? Was it kind of like once a week? How did you implement that change?
It is really good for things like that. Don't run people over on a forklift. That is a boring message that, safety, who cares? And it's the perfect avenue to get in people's heads with that kind of message. So go your hardest. But we got in really slowly. Like the videos and the video thumbnails were the very first thing we did. And that sort of slowly brought people along. The execs saw that we were getting responses and they saw the numbers change, and then we won that state award for innovation, and that kind of got them over the edge, and then, do what you want. But again, we're only posting this kind of stuff once every 2 weeks maybe. It's not a daily thing we're doing because we're not a meme page. We're still a council. We're still doing serious work, but yeah.
Sure, you're not a meme page. I think you misrepresented your page
I do
today.
run a meme page. If anyone is in the media, follow @radio and DJ memes. Hush, hush.
They're pretty
just
good.
Quietly.
They're pretty good.
Let's get that in there.
We've got one final question, and then Jen gave me the jumping up and down signal. So, Vanessa, final question.
I think you've kind of answered it in that last question. Do you have a critical mass of how often you post that kind of content versus normal content?
We've always got a balance across all of our content. So remember that slide that showed everything the council does? So in any, 2-week period, we're trying to get a balance across the 3 directorates that sit there, across everything the 3 directorates are doing, across events, across, public works, across bin collections, everything. And we're just trying to get, across that 2-week period, a nice even balance. And then layered on top of that is the serious versus the fun. So we've also got, over a 2-week period, we'll have, say, 1 meme, 1 fun kind of content, 1 post that's got, people front and center having fun with what they're doing, and the rest is all serious stuff. And, there might be an event promo in there as well. So we're just trying to get the balance over that period.
Please put your hands together for Mr. Ed Garner.
Oh, thank you.